Awesome. All right. So another little Broncos Brawl post game, and I'm getting tired of this. Tampa Bay Buccaneers come into the Mile High City and they defeat the Denver Broncos 28-10. Um, Tom Brady is now 9-9 in the Mile High City. Was 8-9 coming in. We were hoping that the Mile High air would get to him. It wasn't the case. Jeff Driscoll comes out, I believe, finishes with 190 yards. I'm going to go ahead and get his stat line now before I don't look like a fool. Let's go over to Jeff Driscoll. So Jeffrey, 17 for 30, 176 yards, one touchdown, one interception, sacked 5 times. And it looks like we didn't make any step closer than what we were last week, rather than we looked worse. On the offensive line, we just did not look sound as an offense as a whole. And then on the defensive side of the ball, you can only expect your defense to do so much. Alex, I'm going to start with you, my friend. Another horrible day at the office. How you feel about this one?
Man, remember when we were complaining about just Wilkinson, and that was our only concern to start the year?
Yes,
And
sir.
it was like, oh man, Bowles picked it up. We got our interior figured out, and all Locke has to do is just check his right side a little bit here and there. Man, those seem like the glory days, just complaining about just our right tackle. And man, what do you even say at this point? I've run out of words. It's a sad state of affairs in Denver right now.
Andy, a horrendous offensive line, to say the least. All across the offensive line. Graham Glasgow had his fair share of errors, and that's a veteran that you rely on. Lloyd Cushenberry, the interior rush, it got to him. And then Elijah Wilkinson, hey, same old same. What could you take away from this offensive line's horrendous performance, other than it was horrendous?
It's bad, man. And it's like, it's like Alex said, I think a lot of just because Wilkinson's doing so bad, it's taking away off, some attention off that center position with Lloyd Cushenberry, but he's struggling, man. Like, he is really struggling. There's times where his assignment is just like, he just leaves his assignment completely unblocked, and it's just costing the Broncos. That being said, a lot of those sacks also come back on Driscoll. It's just a mess in Denver, man.
And then there was Noah Smith. What would you say about that offensive line, man?
Man, there's not much else to say. It's rough. But like Andy said, a lot of that was on Driscoll. A lot of those throwaways, a lot of those where he was trying to outrun Shaq Barrett, not going to happen in the NFL. I know he was a sprinting champ in college, but this is the NFL. You got to eat it, man. You got to just throw it away.
You talk about this defense, man, and like I had alluded to, you can only do so much. I saw a little bit of effectiveness from Shelby Harris, was able to get into the backfield a couple times, actually deflected a pass, and then Bradley Chubb was able to find Tom Brady. What can you take away from the defense? This time I start with you, Noah.
Yeah, man. There's only so much you can take away when Tom Brady's playing quarterback and you got two studs on the outside and Gronkowski looking a little more closer to playoff Gronkowski. But, they held up when they could. They got cooked to start the game in third down or in the red zone. There's not much else you can ask for. But, they picked their battles where they could win, and there's not much else you can ask for, man.
Alex, what say you, man?
The defense, man, you're playing from behind. You're playing without, figuratively, you're playing without an offense at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You're literally just asked to go out there and contain Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, a first-round pick in O.J. Howard, as well as, we'll throw in a couple speedy and powerful running backs. I don't know. What do you expect that defense to do when you're missing Von Miller and you have no pass rush to speak of outside of, Shelby Harris just wrecking fools inside? He can only do so much, and we even saw Simmons have himself not the greatest day. So, yeah, it was just, I don't know. It wasn't that great a day for any one particular part of the ball.
Andy?
Yeah, man. I think they've done basically all that you can ask them to do at this point. They're just, every game is just trying to hold on, trying to keep this young offense that's plagued with injuries. It's all just trying to keep them in the game. And I mean, it's only so much you can do, especially this game with Tom Brady. And like Noah said, those two studs on the outside, Godwin and Evans. I mean, it's only really so much you can do. I think they did just about as good as you can do. I mean, I don't know. It's just you can't really complain on, the offense scored 10 points. I mean, you can't win games like that regardless on how good your defense plays.
And we talk about this defense starting with, its impact on the Buccaneers offense. Tom Brady finished tonight 25 for 38, 297 yards, 3 touchdowns. Going down the list, all these receivers, if by my count, all are held under 100 yards. However, Mike Evans was able to find the end zone twice, and then you had Chris Godwin, of course, find the end zone once. So the passing game was effective, especially in the red zone for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I want to switch gears, maybe shy away from their quarterback situation because it seems to be, way better than where Denver is, because now we get into the Brett Rypien. This could very well be the 9th starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos since Peyton Manning departed the league back in 2016. And Brett Rypien came in real late in the game. It was 8 for 9 passing on his attempts, 53 yards, and then 1 interception, which was in the end zone, and then 1 sack. Took 1 sack as well. Do we maybe see Brett Rypien get his chance at starting come Thursday night against the New York Jets? Alex, I'm going to start with you, man.
Yeah. I mean, what not? Why not? I mean, if we go back to training camp, he was the worst quarterback in camp by all accounts. But, you are working with third string practice squad guys and guys who are going to be selling cell phones later on this year. So, I mean, we did see him move the ball with that same offensive line. And that's the difference, is a guy who recognizes and can call out coverages and can get rid of the ball a little bit faster versus a guy who is relying more on, I will try to extend the play as much as possible in Driscoll. And we saw that nightmare with Driscoll. So is it going to be Drew Lock? I mean, that, if anything, if these two quarterbacks should tell you anything, is Drew Lock is very special. I mean, this guy is making chicken salad out of chicken, you know what. So, yeah, I mean, right now it should be Brett Rypien on Thursday, and that is not something we should be excited about, but we should be excited that it's not Jeff Driscoll.
Noah?
Yeah, man. Just like Alex said, he was making chicken salad. The one thing I was impressed about was his pocket presence. I mean, in many cases where you saw Jeff Driscoll just run around like a chicken with his head cut off, you saw Brett Rypien just analyze the field and find the quickest way to get the ball out of his hands. So to me, Brett Rypien is more of a backup quarterback, but he did play more of a consistent game than you saw from Jeff Driscoll, in my opinion.
Andy, what say you, man?
Yeah, man, just like Noah said, it's consistency. That's what you need in a backup quarterback. You don't need somebody that's going to, make the big plays in this. You just need consistency, and that's what Rypien showed in that last drive. I mean, it's like, Alex said, he was looking at the defense, reading the defense, changing the play. And, I mean, Jeff Driscoll can't read the defense, dude. Like, it was so bad. Like, they showed him exactly what they were doing, and he still just, like, tried, I don't know. And, the times where he'd roll out trying to make a throw, like, you just got to throw those away. You can't eat those sacks. I mean, there's plenty of times where it's not like he was throwing off his back foot. I mean, he was running forward. He could have just, flicked it out, but he took the sack. God knows why. But, I think it's Brett Rypien this week, and I just want to kill all Bortles talk because, I don't see Bortles making, the start and making an impact in this game with less than a week in the system. I just don't see it, man.
Well, you speak on Jeff Driscoll's performance, man, and I just immediately went to flashbacks of Trevor Siemian. So it was a horrendous outing. Kyle Orton too. You could throw that in the bag. It's just a horrendous outing for Jeff Driscoll, especially when you're relying on him the most. And he kind of had a little bit of positivity and optimism coming in from last week, being able to see what he could do against a team like the Steelers, given the circumstances, and then boom, roller coaster went right downhill. Now, I do want to throw in some comments into this conversation, and this was from Vic Fangio following the game. Fangio said he put Ripon in part to see if he could get rid of the ball quicker, quote, end quote. Now, in terms of the offensive tackle position, I'm no expert here, but when is enough? I already put in a petition on Twitter for Elijah Wilkinson's ass to get out. So, I mean, I don't know if I'm the only one in this boat here. Garrett Bowles seems to be holding up his end of the deal. Noah, I'm going to start with you. Can we see a guy like DeMar Dotson make his way to the starting right tackle position anytime soon?
Man, I don't see the harm. I mean, what's the worst case scenario is he's worse than Wilkinson, and you just put Wilkinson back in. The thing with Wilkinson is I just don't think he has the skills to play tackle. I think he's a really, really, really good swing guard, can play guard, center guard, but I don't think he has the ability to hold up 16 games at the tackle position in the NFL.
Well, 5 sacks, Alex. What do you think, man?
I mean, literally, can you do any worse than 5 sacks? I mean, it's so bad when you're making Broncos fans say, oh, wow, Bowles looked really good today aside from his one hold. I mean, good Lord, we are complimenting Bowles because Bowles was not the worst tackle on the team. So it's so bad. It's just so bad. I mean, there was a reason why every Broncos fan was like, really, no tackle in the draft? Like, not at all? And yet here we are now, just like, man, a developmental tackle would look really nice right now. I mean, can we work Calvin Anderson in? I mean, what can we do to at least, show that we are at least attempting to make things better or prepare for the future, or just show that, okay, when Drew Lock does come back, he's not going to be hurt within the next, within the first couple plays being behind that god-awful right tackle position.
Andy?
Yeah, man. I mean, I wrote a whole article on it. No, I hate Wilkinson at right tackle, man. I just can't do it. I can't do it anymore. And what concerns me the most is not even now. It's like Alex said, in the future, I don't want Drew Lock running back there, taking another snap with Wilkinson at right tackle. He obviously, his technique is bad. You see, if you watch the film, dude, he gets beat like the first step. He's already beat. Like, it's embarrassing. I don't even understand how somebody, like, you can make the case can be made that he's the worst tackle in the NFL. Like, he should not be a tackle in the NFL, at least starting.
I want to speak to the effect of Drew Lock because I'm going to give him this. His instinct has been top notch because he knows what he's dealing with on the front line. It's almost like he's got his elusiveness in his back pocket. He's ready to roll out right and try to see if he can extend a play already, even before the snaps. Like, he's already got it planned out, and it's just because of this pathetic offensive tackle play, primarily from that right side of the line. So we'll just see how that pans out, and hopefully they can make some adjustments, maybe move Elijah Wilkinson into another position. Hell, I wouldn't be opposed to maybe trying Dalton Reisner. Like we talked about before the season started, he had reps at K-State at the tackle position, but clearly he's played a solid job at being in that guard position. But like I said, we'll have to see. Now, I want to talk about the opponent on the list coming up, Thursday Night Football. It's a short week, short turnaround. Expect a few walkthroughs between now and then. And Wednesday, we're going to make our predictions and go in depth on this one. But Thursday night, the Denver Broncos go to the Big Apple to take on the New York Jets. They lost it was an ugly one today. They're 0-3 as well. Noah, or actually, you know what? Andy, I'm going to start with you on this one, my friend. You haven't got your reps in. It's time to get your first reps in. Let me ask you this, man. You go into the Jets. Broncos are 2.5 favorites, but you go back to 2018, and that wasn't the case. They got ran all over by Isaiah Crowell. I mean, their starting running back has been dealing with injury. Le'Veon Bell, I believe he was moved to IR, if I'm not mistaken. He's not even in the game plan. Is there a bounce back? Can we see a 1-3 team by the end of this week out of the Denver Broncos?
Man, dude, I hope so. And, for Denver's sake, they better hope they get this win too, or, it's going to be real bad. You can't let your guard down off a Jets team that, and with the line, like playing like this, you can't count out the Jets winning this game, man, because it's tough. And, you bring in the conversation of having a new quarterback in there. There's going to be some hiccups early on. So there's really no saying, it's not an easy win by all means, like it should have been, looking back at the schedule in the beginning of the season. I'm just hoping Denver can escape with a win on this one, man, or it's going to be real bad.
Andy? Or Alex, excuse me. All A's, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think this should be a real good toilet bowl game. I mean, they're both 0-3. I mean, outside of, Lego boy looking dude. I mean, I don't even want to get into it. Oh yeah, I mean, trust me. I mean, outside of their quarterback, where are they significantly better than the Broncos? Even a hurt Broncos team right now. There's a reason they are 0-3, and man, it's just going to be not that great of football. But the good thing with the Broncos is they're going in with a quarterback, hopefully, in Brett Rippon, that has no game tape out there. So just like Driscoll was able to surprise Pittsburgh with some things here and there, Brett Rippon will have that going in his back pocket. But otherwise, I don't know. It's going to be just a terrible game to watch all around because neither one of these teams as a whole are any good at all.
Noah, Broncos go in to compete against a familiar face, Adam Gase, old offensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos. How does this turn out for them?
Yeah, man. They need a win. Like, this is desperate. The one matchup I am actually looking forward to is that interior defensive line for Denver. Jarrell Casey has been a no-show for the first 3 games for the Broncos. I mean, you're looking at impact plays. He's not there. This interior 3, apart from Connor McGovern, we love him, but now he's a Jet. This interior 3 should be a good test for this Broncos deal, or not necessarily a test, but it should be a good playground for them to absolutely destroy Sam Darnold.
It's going to be a difficult one, fellas. Y'all just better strap in and pray that Drew Lock's recovery speeds up because we need it. Just so many injuries have plagued us throughout the season. You guys all know this. And we're just going to have to see how this pans out. Byron, we missed you, but make sure you follow him at BC_Chamberlain on Twitter and Instagram. These guys at NoahSmith735 on Twitter and I believe Instagram as well. And then follow Alex at the bottom left of the screen, if I wasn't so Zoom directionally challenged, at @V_Broncos on Twitter. And then at the very bottom, that kid MTZ below me, Mr. Andy Martinez. So make sure you follow all those guys and show them love. Well, guys, we got a new episode coming out Wednesday, Broncos Brawl. We're going to go over that Jets game and give our predictions. It's going to be a toilet bowl game, but we'll just see how it pans out. Thanks for coming. Thanks for tuning in tonight, and we'll see you guys later on in the week. Thank you guys for tuning in.